Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans. We will talk all things Miami Dolphins this morning as normal. There's some news on the injury front, some news on Dolphins working out receivers and stuff like that. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you have found the right spot. Big thumbs up to you. So I know, surprisingly, the Dolphins were probably more of an injured thing or maybe a practice squad signing. I don't know. But a trio of receivers got workout from the Dolphins, including a local product from American Heritage, Anthony Schwartz. But they also worked out Jacob Copeland and Gracie McMath. So those are some of the Dolphins news, and we will get into more of that later. Let's see who's here in comments. Good morning, Dad Dean, and good morning, Moya. Oh, brother, tongue twister already this morning. But a big fins up to you, Moya, for coming in to the room. As far as Robert Jones, it doesn't look like it's a minor injury, but it's more of what they call a week-to-week injury. So at left guard after the bye week, looks like we still may be either going with Eichenberg or Cotton at left guard. Thinking Hunt would be back at right guard. Left guard, is going to either be Eichenberg or Cotton because Jones looks banged up. So he looks like he's out of the equation. So we continue to get banged up across the offensive line, which is not a good thing going into the stretch run. We did get Armstead back this week. He didn't have his best game, but it was probably just a little bit rusty, a little bit not in the groove. So let's hope he gets better now that he's coming back into action. He got one game out of the way. Now he has a bye week to him and get more rust maybe, but more rest, be ready to go. And, after the bye week, let's just pin our ears back, Dolphins, and stay in control. Good morning, Scotty. Yeah, I get when we cut if Craig Huffy doesn't make it to the practice squad. Yes, you are correct. That's what I'm thinking. I think then it's more looking at practice squad, have someone on the, right there on the get-go. Robbie Chosen may not even choose to sign with another team unless it's like a contender or something like that. He really wanted the Dolphins, but he hasn't gotten much action with the Dolphins. But it's understandable why, because we have a loaded receiver room, and with Craycraft coming back as one more, it's going to be interesting to see some of the moves because they got to bring back A Chain. See, old habits are they have to bring back A Chan. So there's a lot of moves they're going to have to, and Craycraft. There's a couple moves along the way that they're going to have to do. Hey, good morning, Justin of Digging in the Trenches, and it's Steve Malloy of Real Talk Fins Talk. We had a show last night. So there are some moves. It's going to be interesting to see who the Dolphins bring back as far as that. Sounds like they're just going to ride out the Jones thing without putting him on IR, maybe, since we got the bye week and they said week to week. But it's going to be interesting on the offensive line. Armstead did not have his best game this past week. But with that said, he's going to perform. He'd be okay. Austin Jackson's been playing better than what we thought out there. We got Connor Williams back. So there is hope on that offensive front. And I do like that. So, yeah, those receivers guys, if you were just joining us here now, I started the show by saying we had worked out some receivers yesterday. The Schwartz, Anthony Schwartz, who's a local prospect, Jacob Copeland, and Gracie McMath. If you guys are just joining us, those are the guys we worked out yesterday. So we will see on that front where they go as far as like Scotty and I say, I believe it's more practice squad sounding than anything else. and it should be cool. Telling you so many wasted drives. No, I agree, Justin. There were some missed opportunities in that game for sure, without a doubt. That's why I think that game hurt more than the Buffalo loss and the Eagles loss. There's just missed opportunities that we could have taken control of that game. Trying to get past it because all we can do is like Mike McDaniel, our head coach, likes to say, you can only control what we can control. We can't control that at this point. Hopefully, moving forward, the Dolphins do have that balanced attack that all fans are looking for. We will have a Chan in the very near future, so that should help a little build a little more confidence in being able to run, knowing he could get a big play out of the running game. Ahmed, nice little back, but he's not really, he's not the answer for sure. He's a good fill-in, replaceable type player. Love him because he wears the aqua and orange. So of course I love some Ahmed, but we got better guys coming back because when you get Brooks coming back, and that's an under the radar guy coming back because he didn't have the stats, but he's a really good blocker. Makes Justin happy in the way he blocks. So get that kid back there. He's the guy that will pound you as a rookie. He was out there pounding people already. So you get Chris Brooks back, you get HM back. The running game is looking better in my view. And River Craycraft is another addition to the running game, believe it or not, as he's really good at run blocking when he's out there. He's a good receiver too, but he's good at run blocking. So there are signs that we can get better. But we still got that monkey on our back. If I had a stuffed monkey, I would have had it on my back this morning. But we got the monkey on our back when it comes to they can't beat the good team. So we got to end that because in the playoffs, we all know you got to beat a team with a winning record to advance in the playoffs. We got plenty of opportunities coming up. We got the Raiders, but then we got, then we got the Jets, but we got the Ravens on the schedule. We got the Bills again on the schedule. We got the Cowboys on the schedule, and then other teams like not to, you got the Commanders and the Titans, all those. But as far as like quality, what we can get in that quality win, as they call it in college football, we have our opportunities. The one that I look at and almost see is I don't know how we're going to win, and it's almost like impossible. And I hate to say it, the Ravens game. I don't see how these teams are playing right now in the Dolphins, but that's way down the road. Let's not worry about that yet. That's way down the road. Yes, he's week to week, and what's good news for him. Initially, it looked like he was. Yes, I was afraid of that too, Scotty. So the week to week is a good, and that's why I say I don't think they would place him on the IR since we're already limited and we want only so many moves coming back. If he does, and it basically is over the season, because I don't think he'd be one of the moves they bring back again. They already designated him once to come back. So we'll see. Yes, that's Baltimore is my favorite game of that. Yes, Scotty, but that's going to be a very historically the Dolphins don't play well in Baltimore. Last year we had the great fourth quarter and maybe exercise that demon, and now we can play well up in Baltimore. Let's hope so. And like I say, right now Baltimore's peaking. Let's just see. At the end of the season, maybe it would be our time to start peaking because look at Cincinnati. They were like sluggish start. Now in Cincinnati is rising quickly. And that whole division, if you look at it, is insane. You got the Ravens and then everyone else like at 5-3 and stuff. So it's really, really crazy. To me, the best path for the Miami Dolphins and maybe the only path to really get into the playoffs is win the AFC East. Take advantage of Buffalo not playing that well this year because Buffalo might wake up. We're all making fun of them, but they can wake up. Chargers helped the Dolphins out the other night by beating the Jets. And then the Bengals helped the Dolphins out the other night by beating the Bills. So, we got some help this week. And we lost. And then if we would have taken care of our business, it would have been a great weekend as a Miami Dolphin fan because other teams helped us out. We would have been in control easily in the AFC East. We're still in control, but not much breathing room. Because if you figure if Buffalo ties our record, they're ahead of us with the head-to-head. So that's not a good thing. But I do see in a couple of weeks the Bills and Jets play each other. I could see the Jets maybe knocking them off, but then I have to be honest that the Jets can knock us off too. But I'm just saying we will see. I'd be rooting for the Raiders, I guess, to beat the Jets this week for sure. And then I don't see the Broncos beating the Bills. But I won't watch much football this weekend. It just happened. Sometimes the football gods work out. They gave the Dolphins the bye week just when it happens that my son is turning 21 up in college, up at his college at the University of Florida. So I'm going to get to go visit him, give him a nice birthday for when he turns the big 2-1, and I don't have to worry about missing the Dolphins game. So sometimes things work out in life, and just as one of those weekends. So I will catch some of those games, but it's really nothing on my radar that I worry about. If the Dolphins get some help, fine. But at the end of the day, good teams take care of their own business, and that's what our Dolphins have to do. Just hope we haven't blown our load too early. I don't think so, Justin. I don't think so. I think we're actually gonna. I think our defense is actually peaking now, and I think our defense is starting to get better. And we're going to be a more complimentary football team. It's not going to be us just getting high offensive yards and being that kind of stuff. Because if you would have told me, like I said, I think I said this on my show Monday, but if you would have told me, hey, Rob, Kansas City's only going to get 2 offensive touchdowns, and the Dolphins are going to shut out the Chiefs in the second half. They're going to get a goose egg in the second half, and Mahomes is only going to lead the offense to 2 touchdowns, and those are the only scores they would get on offense all game. I would have taken that to the bank running for sure that Miami won. But as it turns out, we gave them a fumble 6. So that added to the score, made it 21-0. And the Dolphins offense just never got going. Never was a smooth show. You can blame McDaniel. You can blame Tua. You can blame Tyreek Hill. You can blame whoever you want to blame. But it's a team loss at the end of the day. And the Dolphins lost. They didn't get the job done. So they still got that monkey on their back. But hey, the future's okay. We just got to get going. I like that the defense is intact and they got all these guys back. It's a big difference. You can just see because now those pressures that Chubb was getting that weren't sacks are starting to become sacks, and he he's starting to live up to that big height. He needs to take a few more steps, but he's getting the big height. I was probably hardest on him than I am on other Dolphins just because I just thought we gave up too much for what the performance level was at that time, but he's starting to do well. Phillips is starting to play well. So we are starting to look good. We're starting to generate some good organic pass rush. Fangio is drawing up different schemes, looking better that way. I think he was just waiting for all of his pieces to get back. Kelsey, if you would have told me Kelsey didn't do anything, that Kelsey had like 3 catches, no touchdowns, no big first down converting, like huge play that keeps the chains moving, I would have thought we won. Because one of my keys to the game was do not let Kelsey beat you. Well, the Dolphins didn't let Kelsey beat them, but they let the Chiefs beat us. So that's not good. Hey, hooked it up, Joe. Thank you for dropping by. I like your theory on why we working out receivers. I do think chosen next on the chopping block as the guys come back from. Yeah, it's going to have to be because Craycraft is going to create someone needing to go. A-Chan is going to create someone needing to go because you definitely want A-Chan from what you got that glimpse of the tease, I like to say. We got a tease of his greatness, but now we're hoping that he comes back there because he's a difference maker. He is a definite difference maker in the Dolphins offense because you can't just say, oh, they're gonna pass for the big play. A-Chan can take it to the house if they're not playing ready for the run. So he is a big difference. Getting that young man back, if he can stay healthy, is a big, big move coming forward. So I don't believe the Dolphins have peaked. Am I disappointed that the Dolphins haven't beaten a team with a reigning record? Of course. I think anyone in here, I wouldn't be wearing Dolphin stuff and happy with my team losing any game that they play, but I hate that narrative more than anyone. But I like McDaniel owned up to it. He says the only way we're going to erase that narrative is by beating a team with a winning record. And until we do that, there's going to be that narrative. And just think about it. If the Dolphins had won this week, everyone would be saying the Dolphins and the Ravens are the Super Bowl favorites from the AFC. Instead, it's and McDaniel called it before it happened. Instead, it's the Dolphins can't win the big game, and everyone's talking about, we get bullied and we do this. And then, hey, those are all fair criticisms because they're true, but we still have our chance to not get bullied now that we're getting some of our guys back. Let's see. Kelsey stopped, no points for Chiefs and said most positive thing that happened. Yeah, I agree, Dad. That's what I said, man. If you would have told me those things happened before the game, I would have thought for sure the Dolphins would win. If you would have just told me that Kansas City got shut out in the second half, Mahomes only led 2 scoring drives the whole game, plus getting 0 in the second half, I would have said, "Oh my God, the Dolphins won, and by how much did the Dolphins win by?" That's what I would have been saying. But instead, we were in a 21 nothing home. If even if Tyreek doesn't just fumble there, if he holds on to the ball, doesn't fumble, and they don't return it for a touchdown, because I was thinking, oh, we're going to get 7, and then we get the ball in the second half first, we're going to be right back in this sucker. But even if you just say the drive stalls and we don't score, and we go into the half at 14 nothing, or even if you had to settle for a stupid field goal or something, whatever, we probably win that game. So it just shows how fine of a line it is in the NFL. And it just stinks that it was Tyreek fumbling because he psyched himself up for that game for sure. Good morning, Mr. Good morning, Mr. Stubbs. A big fins up to you as well, sir. Let's see. Yep, now we're gonna have to win in the KC, maybe. Yeah, no, you're right, man. I mean, that was a big thing. Number 1 seed, long sought now, but number 2 seed up for grabs. Beat Ravens and Dolphins are. Yeah, I agree, man. That Ravens game is going to be huge. Only thing I don't like about it is a team that Dolphins don't match up well. These bully, smash mouth teams and stuff like that. So that scares me a little bit on that game. But hey, that's a stigma we got to get rid of ourselves. Get that monkey off the back. If you beat the Ravens up there at that point in the season when the playoff push is at its toughest, then you got a legit contender on our hands with the Miami Dolphins. But to make that game even matter, we still got to take care of business against the teams that we've been taking care of, the teams that you're supposed to beat, starting with the Raiders. Do not overlook the Raiders. They got a new interim coach. Hopefully, the interim coach magic wears off by the time they play us because they just got their win with their interim coach. They played the Jets this week in prime time on Sunday night. So by the time maybe they get to us, that interim magic will be a little worn off, and they'll be on the road, and we can get the win, get the dub against the Raiders. To me, the Jets is a vital game. I would like to sweep the Jets. The Jets are tough, very tough. They may lose to the Raiders next week. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Then they got the Bills before they play us, so they got a couple games before they play us. Even though the Jets looked bad the other night, their defense is tough. It'll be interesting to see our offense against their defense. But I think our defense can hold their offense to not that many points, or our offense won't have to score so many points, but they have to be at least as good as the Chargers in putting points up on the board. Let's see. We got a whole bunch. Yes, we did, Mr. Stubbs. I'll throw who we did up there again. I covered it in the beginning of the show. But if you want to see who they are, that's who they are. Jacob Copeland, Racy McMath, and Anthony Swartz. And as you can see, Anthony Swartz was a local kid that played for American Heritage right here in beautiful South Florida. So there you go. You ask and you shall receive, sir. Yeah, the Chiefs' schedule is not that. They got. I think they have to play the Eagles, but that's at home. They have to play the Bills, but that's at home. But of course, we'd be rooting for them against the Bills probably. So it's like it's really that was our chance. We blew it, and it was bad. But hey, we let a golden opportunity slip by. No problem, Mister Stubbs. No problem at all. We can beat anyone if we just keep running the ball and Tua hits the right reads. Yes, and yes, agreed on that. We can. There's not a team in the league that we can't beat. You are 100% right, and we got to do that. And we just got. To me, we have to just keep in control of our own destiny, and we're doing that okay so far. Win the AFC East because it guarantees at least 2 things. It guarantees you're in the playoffs, and it guarantees that you got at least one home game. Home games are the best recipe in the NFL to advancing in the playoffs. So if you get that first round bye, it's not going to probably happen. We had our chance to knock off Kansas City and be in position for that first round bye, especially since we got the Ravens coming up. But I do believe that division over there, they would start beating each other up a little bit. But the Ravens, I think, had already beat the Bengals, and now they got them coming there. So they're already got that upper hand. But the Bengals are getting more on a roll. They might be able to beat the Ravens. But to me, the first round bye is almost it's like bye, bye, bye. But as far as having a first round playoff game at Hard Rock, very much on the table. Very much on the table. The number two seed is very much on the table. Then it only takes Kansas City or the Ravens, whoever gets the number one seed. If the Ravens get the number one seed, we're really screwed because Kansas City would probably be ahead of us in seeding, and then we're like the number three. But if somehow we sneak into that number two, because over there, the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns and the Steelers, they all start beating each other up. I don't know how many more games they have against each other. I don't follow that division wholeheartedly, but I know if you look at the standings over there, they got a lot of winning football teams over there. So division rivals have a history of knocking each other off at least once. So it'll be interesting over there. But I don't want to have some stupid mathematical equation at the end decide whether the Dolphins make the playoffs or that we need another team to beat this team, but this team to lose to that team. And I'm tired of that. I want to be in control. And the way you stay in control is winning your division. I don't want to have to be like last year where you had to win, but you still had another team to win to get you into the playoffs. I don't want that crap. I want my Dolphins to take control of what's theirs right now, the lead in the AFC East, never look back and stay out ahead of the competition. I hope that last game, by the time they come into the Buffalo game, we already got the division locked up. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, number two or three would. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe number three seed, maybe number two. Number one, we kind of, you know, let it slip out of. Hey, Mr. West White, let's see. Thins up to you, sir. And what's up? Let's see what Dad Dean had to say. Then divisional round better. Yes, no, for sure, man. That's it. We have paper can't become lions overnight. Let's hope that we'll get to. I believe they can get that going. They can get a fire lit under their butt. The most positive thing I can say for the Dolphins, we're trending the right way on defense. If somehow we can get things worked out on the road on offense. Granted, it's like all the road games happen to be against the best teams, so that's some of it. You know, that's some of the issues about going on the road. We've played all of our best teams that we've played have been all on the road, and we've played some of the not so great. I hate saying not so great in the NFL or not good because in the NFL anyone can punch you in the mouth at any single time, and that's why I don't take the Raiders game coming up even after a bye week for granted because you never know what's going to go on in the NFL from one week to the next. But with that said, the Dolphins should be able to control their own destiny, and I think they can do it because Buffalo actually has a tougher schedule coming up than what we have. We're almost a lot of it. The tough games are almost the same. They have Dallas at home. They have Kansas City though. We already got them out of the way, unfortunately, with a loss. But they got Kansas City on the road. So, they got a lot of those. And I think they have to play the Eagles at Eagles. So, there's a lot of tough games for Buffalo too. And I don't count, them up as a win necessarily against the Jets. So oh no, for sure, man. Any team can beat any team. I mean, just ask it. That's why there's no winless team because any team can beat any team at any time. And teams can surprise you because no one thought the Texans would be playing as well as they're playing this year. They got a young kid at quarterback balling out, and they're doing very well. It's amazing what they're doing. So, you just never know, man. You just don't know. And it's like the Texans beat the Jaguars, but the Jaguars are now one of the best teams. And don't sleep on the Jaguars for a top seed either. I know it's easy to forget about the Jaguars. So there's a lot of teams in the mix for that top seed. That's why winning the division is crucial to our chances in the AFC playoff picture. It's crucial. Miami is because you do not want these crazy tie breaking, because sometimes it doesn't even become head to head, because if there's like three teams high with the same record, then it becomes all kinds of crazy tiebreakers, and you don't want those scenarios like that. What you want is win that division, because you can control that. You can't control what the math computers say. Well, the Dolphins lost to this team, beat that team, but this team beat that team and lost it. You don't want that. You want to be able. That'd be nice, Dad Dean. Win out. That would be nice. Do I expect that to happen? No. But what I love them 14-3 Miami Dolphins. Then I would know we're super legit. But if you win this, oh, I don't know. You would have to break it down. But if they have 9 home games this year, some of which they've already played. But if they win all 9 home games, and then the couple road games that we already got under our belt, that's 11 wins right there. And that might win the division, but I don't know. Yeah, I think we're going to need some other wins in there too. And that's assuming you're going to win every home game, which is a big assumption, of course. But I'm just saying, if you control, because we have played well at home this year, if you control your destiny at home, then you have a good chance. Good morning, Back It Up Ben's podcast, by the way. Let's see. Good morning, Back It Up Ben, and he says good morning to everyone. Yes, I know, Justin, it's a long shot, Mr. Digging in the trenches, but hey, crazier things have happened. If we went out, the haters would break their backs moving goalposts. Oh no, for sure, Scotty. For sure, things will change then. So you're saying 12 wins is what we're gonna need to win. I know it's tough, man. I mean, I should have posted up the NFL standings, but the AFC is no freaking joke, man. It is no joke. I'm gonna go look at them right now, real quick, because you got the Miami Dolphins at 6-3, Buffalo at 5-4, but then you got the Ravens at 7-2, Steelers 5-3, Browns 5-3, Bengals 5-3, Jaguars 6-2, and then Kansas City at 7-2. And then you got a whole bunch of teams right there around 500. If you look in the AFC, they're really outside of New England. Can you imagine saying that? Outside of New England, everyone else is pretty much in the hunt right now. And Tennessee Titans, I guess you could rule them out, and the Denver Broncos. But even the Raiders come in at 4-5, and the Chargers are right there 4-4. It'd be funny, like if the Chargers win this coming game. I think they play the Lions, but who knows? Be funny, because then we would have a team with a winning record, but people would say, "Oh, but when the Dolphins played them, they didn't have a winning record." But yet we would have a team. So the Chargers are getting close to they're right at 500. So there's a lot of teams. If you lose one more game, it's because the team booed like crazy the night before the team is done shooting themselves in the foot. We are getting. Well, I don't know. I hope you are right, sir. But Mr. AC Millen 111. Sorry if I messed up your name, but you know who I'm talking about. And guys, be mind, if you guys are here and you haven't done so this morning yet, please give me a big boom, boom, boom on those thumbs up. It does help the channel, and it's free to you. So yeah, Levis will lend Tennessee a couple games. Yeah, that's good. Whoever can run the ball can win it all. No, I know. Yeah, you have to look at what their AFC records are too, of course. So let's see. What's just out of fun? Let's just pick Cincinnati Bengals. They are 5-3, but in the conference they are 1-3 due to a bad start in the season. So Cincinnati Bengals, they're 5-3, but all 3 losses come within the AFC. So who has the best? Kansas City has the best conference record right now. And let's see. Well, yeah, Kansas City has the best conference record right now. They're 5-1 in the AFC, so they're still the top dogs in the AFC. Let's see what Mr. Stubbs said. We prove he can hang with the Chiefs. Just made plenty of mistakes. Yes, and bad QB and coaching cost us it. Yeah, so whatever you want to blame at the end, I agree. But definitely Tua could have handled that last snap. And supposedly it was a miscommunication, whatever. If it's just an ugly, bad throw, however you want to describe it. I think it's one of those things like, and we all sometimes do silly thing because you see something and you're like, oh no, but then it's already too late. Because I think he saw that he's like he thought it was going to be like a comeback route. This is I'm not. I'm just talking. He just said he let it slip. He said it slipped, and he took 100% blame for it. But to me, I think he thought Wilson was running a comeback, so he started to get ready in anticipation of the comeback. Wilson then I think Tua said, "Oh crap, he's going deep," and then he went by the time he and then it's just the ball kind of slipped out of his hands. But I don't know. He just said the ball slipped out of his hands, so hey, we would take it for what he says. Yes, Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville's no joke, man. I can't believe the Texans beat them, but they still got to play the Texans again too, and the Texans are no joke. So maybe they start beating each other up in that division a little bit too. So we will see. It's going to be like I said. The top. I can only pound the table so many times and repeat myself so many times, and I think you guys all agree the best route is to win the AFC East, and then everything else takes care of itself. Because as long as you're in that number one spot, you're not in the hunt. You're in. The minute you start losing that number one spot in the AFC, then you're like maybe one of those teams in the hunt, and that's what you don't want. You want to be in, and that's what I want the Dolphins. I don't want to come the last week where we had to go into the Buffalo game saying, "Oh my God, we need to win just to keep our AFC playoff dreams alive," but then we need this team to lose. And no, I want to be in control. I want to be to the point where there's even questions like, "Oh, so the Dolphins play their starters? They already got the AFC wrapped up. Their seeding can't change. So they rest their starters or should they beat Buffalo just to knock Buffalo out of the playoff picture?" That's what I would want. That'd be the ideal situation. Like that'd be the best. Like we got it wrapped up, but Buffalo's playing for their playoff life, the last game of the season, and they have to come in here and beat us. And our big decision is, do we beat Buffalo because they're the division rival, or do we just rest our starters going into the playoffs? Let's see. Yeah, he did, man. He did. I mean, there was a few plays that game. He definitely was not on his best. The receivers maybe could have helped him out a couple times by making a tough grab, not an easy grab. But hey, that's football. I think Leroy Horde, who was a Michigan player and he played in the NFL with the Cleveland for a while, but he's on local radio down here now on 560 WQAM. And he kind of said what I was kind of thinking. He says that he thinks the Dolphins psych themselves out a little too much going into, and he's been on teams like that. He says they try so hard to prove that they belong, that they want to show so hard that they want it, that they deserve to belong. Instead, they just need to go out knowing they belong and that they belong. They don't need. So he thinks there's some of that and that they psych themselves up. And I think that could be possible. I think that was a good take by Mr. Leroy Hurt. I think sometimes they just want to prove themselves to the world, like we are the team, we're for real. Look at us beat this team, and then they get a little. They just kind of messed up, put too much pressure on themselves, whatever you want to say, instead of just knowing that you belong and that you can beat that team. The good thing I do like about the Dolphins, though, they don't panic during. If you watch their sideline, they were down 21 to nothing. There was no one yelling, screaming, saying we all suck. They stayed calm. They all felt like they had a chance to come back, and lo and behold, they had a chance to come back. They blew it in the end, though. And no matter how you slice it, they blew it in the end. Whether you think they should have ran more with Mozart because we were running so well with Mozart at the end, whether you think we should have passed more, whatever. McDaniel nailed it on the head once again on that. People said, "Oh, why didn't you run since you were running so well?" But then he would then say, everyone likes to play the result. If I would have ran it and got stuffed, everyone would have said, "Why didn't you pass the ball? You got Tyreek, you got Waddle, and you got Claypool, and you got Moser, who's good out of the backfield, and you got other targets." So he's right. It's no matter what. We do like to play the result as a fan. But I was one of those that thought maybe they should have ran it a couple more times there because when your running back's averaging over 7 yards a carry, it's kind of tough not to want to run it. But hey, I get it. Baltimore has Cleveland, Cincinnati, at LA Chargers, oh yeah. So I don't know, man. Yeah, Baltimore. I mean, Cleveland. Oh, that's their next. Okay. So yeah, Cincinnati could maybe even Cleveland. Cleveland has a really tough defense. You never know, but Cincinnati could beat them. But Cincinnati's right up there, and they might be the team to beat. And if Cincinnati, that's what I say. I always be like, be careful what you wish for, because one of these teams will take control no matter what. And then because right now we're saying, oh, let Cincinnati beat them. But at the end of the day, it may be Cincinnati sitting there on the top of that division that we may have to go to. So you never know. But I guess if it came down to it, I would rather play at Cincinnati than play at Baltimore, probably. I would say, just because of our history there. We averaged more yards running the ball than we did throwing the ball in the year. It's not rocket science. So based on what they're run the damn ball. Yeah, well, that's a favorite line of digging the trenches for sure. Run the ball. He pounds the table for running the ball because he likes to play the bully ball. Dolphins, Jets twice. Yes, we still got the Jets twice. Las Vegas, Tennessee, at Baltimore, Buffalo. Yes, and of those, so we got one at the Jets, as you pointed out, and then the one at home against the Jets. Then we got the Raiders in Tennessee, both at home. I mean, you would think, though, like I say, you know what they say about thinking or assuming, but you would assume that the Dolphins should be able to take care against the Raiders and Tennessee. You would assume that's like I said, that would put us exactly where we were last year as far as wins. That would put us at 8-3, hitting into the tough part of the. I mean, 8-3. Yeah, no, they those. Yeah, yeah, that ways. What was I saying? Yeah, no, the Raiders and the Jets would put us at 8-3, but that's Jets on the road. So yeah, that would put us at 8-3. That's what we need right there, man. We need to get. I think we almost have to beat the Jets twice. I really do. There's no excuse not to. Yes, they're a bully defense. Yes, they're very good. But if the Chargers can go in there and knock them in the mouth, so can the Dolphins. So let's get that job done, Miami Dolphins. You have to go in there and beat the Jets. Scare me. I don't make them make no mistake because that defense is really good if you watch them. They just can't get it done on offense. So if we just get enough on offense, just like the Chargers did. They had a punt return. They had a 1 yard drive basically as a result of a fumble. So they got a couple scores on the easy route, but that Jets defense is no joke. You just got to find a way to get enough points against them, and you should be okay. Yes. Oh, yes. The Commanders too. Thank you. The Commanders is also on that schedule, and that's no easy game really either. Like I said, there's no easy game in the NFL. That's why I'm looking one game at a time, and let's just worry about the Raiders next. This week we can, maybe. Oh yeah, someone did mention about the Raiders and the Jets playing this week. I forgot what they said though. Real talks, please. Your game. Don't worry about the outside noise. No, definitely for sure on that. You don't want to worry about the outside noise, Mister Stubbs. But someone in here had mentioned that game. But yeah, the Jets and it'd be interesting to see what the Jets do against the Raiders this week. But like I said, man, when you look at the whole AFC picture, there's a lot. The Raiders are at 4-5. So if they beat the Jets, they'd be at 5-5 coming into Miami. So it's tough, man. It is tough, man. Just looking at that AFC is very tough, man. And you are right, Justin. Ravens are loaded. They are a loaded team. They're scary good right now. So we will see how they go moving forward as well. But they seem to be a well-rounded team. The Chiefs keep on getting it done no matter what. And, we couldn't get it done against them necessarily. I felt it was like us beating ourselves more than them beating us, is what the most disappointing aspect of that game was on that front. That's why I think that game hurt. Yeah, I know. I'm just giving seeding points. No, you're right, man, Dad Dean. You are 100% right. Let's just see. It's too early, really. Some teams will rise up. Some teams are sink down. Let's just hope we're one of those teams that don't sink down in the critical time. That's the biggest aspect. There's a lot of football to be played, and let's just hope that it's a lot of winning football for the Dolphins to be played. I said preseason, the AFC is even top to bottom. That 12-5 would be number one seed. I still think that is possible. Well, we will see there, sir. We will see. I predicted 11-6 at the beginning of the year for the Dolphins, so we may be out of that little bit of a window. I don't know. I don't know if Kansas City. I see Kansas City maybe being better than 12-5. Even though they have some tough games, but they got the Eagles. I think they got the Eagles at home. I mean, they're at home. The Kansas City Chiefs are at home, and they got Buffalo at home. But of course, like I said, it's hard because then, of course, we're going to be rooting for Kansas City to beat Buffalo probably because the number one priority is win the AFC East above all else before you worry about seeing. Toss the ball like crazy versus Jets will be a long day. Oh no, no, you are right, man. You're definitely going to have a balanced attack against the Jets because they will get after Tua all day long, and it could get ugly. Hey, 12-5. I'm right in that neighborhood. I'm 11-6, and if we get a next of these couple more wins quickly, I might be more inclined to up those records a little bit. That'd be nice. I would like that. Let's just see how we do the next couple weeks. But if we beat the Raiders and we beat the Jets on the road, then I might start upping my prediction for the win total because I would give us that 8 already. And then I would say, okay, we're going to win some of those home games. We beat like Tennessee. We beat the Jets at home if we beat them on the road. So, then I might start adding. But I still see like an 11-win team, 12-win team for the Dolphins. So let's see. Hold on, guys. Let's see. I don't have the best schedule up right now, but I want one that fits on the whole screen. Let me put up this schedule. This one fits on the whole screen. So obviously, we're just coming off the Kansas City game. So we're in our bye. So we won't lose this week and we won't win this week, other than some maybe teams helping us out in week 10. Week 11, we got the Raiders. I would think should be a W for the Dolphins. Like I say, I'm counting that as a win. And then, so that should help us right there, get back to the winning ways again. But then it's the at Jets. That's the one I really don't know. That's the one that makes it tough. Yeah, that's like I don't know what to say on that one. Kansas City needs to only win 9, 4 out of 6 left. It's for number. Oh, so there you go, man. There you go. Yeah, no, Kansas City. I mean, that was our chance to take control of not just the AFC East, but to take control of the AFC. And we let opportunities literally slip out of our hands in that game. And that's tough come playoff time. That's the worst part about it. I agree. But then after the Jets, we're on the road again. So 2 weeks in a row on the road. We're at the Commanders. But then we come home for the big stretch of our biggest stretch of home games all season. We come home for the Titans, Jets, and Dallas. So you got to very least, you got to get 2 wins. I want a 3-0 in that stretch right there where we come, but we will see. But man, you guys bring up a lot of good stuff. I love it, guys. You bring up so many good scenarios on what can go wrong, what can go right, and what can go wrong. Let's see. I'm throwing all kinds of different overlays at you today. There's another one. But that's why I wanted to go because you guys are awesome for being in here. Oh, I'm not giving them the Black Friday. I'm just saying it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because of their defense. But if our defense should be able to contain them, we should. Yeah, I watched them Monday, Scotty. You are 100% right. Should the Dolphins beat the Jets? Yes. But do the Jets defense match up well against our offense? Yes, they do. So we do need to be more balanced against them. But with that said, we shouldn't need that many points against them. But the Jets defense, Scotty, is legit because the Chargers won easily, but it's not like Herbert lit them up. They got a 1-yard touchdown drive and they got a punt return and they settled for a lot of field goals. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I like being a what can go right guy. I'm more. You can ask Justin and all those people. I try to be the positive Pete, and Justin sometimes try to point out some of the. Don't be too positive. But he's pretty positive bottom guy line guy too. But he would sometimes go a little more negative. But we all balance each other out in Dolphin land. I just know that the Jets defense is tough. Am I worried about them putting up 20 something, 30 something points on our defense? No. I see it maybe being a low scoring game, and we have to make some offensive plays, but they will get after Tua for sure if we rely 100%. But hopefully by then, Achan's back. We got a little more balance to the offense. Justin will blame McDaniel, so I would do his talking for him a little bit. Hopefully McDaniel is a little more, doesn't be so stubborn and runs the ball a little bit more. But a lot of games this year we have been balanced. We kind of got away from it maybe in the Kansas City game, but we got down 21 to nothing. Still had a chance to win. I get it. Yeah, that is possible, man. We could, Scotty. That's what I'm saying. I'm not so worried about the Jets. I think I might give it a W. In the beginning of the year, I wasn't sure, but I was thinking they had Aaron Rodgers and yada yada yada, and that they had a healthier offensive line, yada yada yada. So I was giving them a little more of a pass. But am I still a little concerned? Yes, because it's a division rival on the road in a whatever, not prime time, but in a special game that's never been played before on Black Friday. The Jets, especially if the Jets lose to the Raiders this coming week and they lose to the Bills, they're really going to be out. So they could just be like, oh, let's get balled up to beat the Miami Dolphins. And, let's see. That could be like their little playoff victory, knocking us in the mouth. That's all I worry about. But do I think the Dolphins are better than the Jets? Yes, I do. But do I think the Jets defense match up well against our offense? Yes, I do. And it's going to be loud. We won't be able to do some of the stuff we do at home. So that scares me a little bit. But are the Dolphins better than the Jets at the end of the day? Yes. And should the Dolphins win? Yes. But do the Jets scare me? Yes. That's how I would talk about it. Hey, Bobby Finstock, guys, if you don't follow his Real Talk Finstock Sports Network, go over there and make sure you check it out. Jesse is top 10 and Miami of 12 goes against top 10 defenses. Plus, it's a division game and in New York. Hopefully, they figure out and get back to 50-50 off. Yes, 50% pass, 50% run. Very well said, Mr. Bobby. But like I say, I'm not worried about the Jets putting up a lot of points. So can we win a defensive struggle against the Jets? The answer, that's what it may come down to, and I see that as being a possibility. So we will see. Oh, a lot of good comments are coming. DCs are watching film and seeing DBs get away with illegal contact downfield, so they all doing it now. It started in the Philly game. The Pats got away with it too. Now KC did. Hands to the face. Yeah, I know there are some calls that don't go that could be called for some. Dolphins go to 13-4 and win all AFC, and well, that's a lot, man. That's the facts. Unless Chiefs cramp. Dolphins go 13-4 and win all AFC game, and Kansas City wins only 4 of 6 and have 13. Would need Baltimore. We need Baltimore at 13-4 for number one seed. That's the facts, unless the Chiefs cramp. Well, that's a lot, man. That's a lot big ask from the Dolphins, but hey, I would take it, mister. With big, I know you're just playing out scenarios, Dad Dean, but I would love that record of 13-4. Holy moly. Big old McDaniel playing sucks in every game. Big old I'm with Big O. McDaniel play calling sucks late in every game we lose. But at the end of the day, if Tua throws that pass to Cedric Wilson, we're saying he's, oh my God, we came back and we won, and no one's picking on McDaniel. If Tua doesn't drop that last snap of the game, he had open receivers on that play. So, yes, could we blame McDaniel maybe for not running the ball enough? Some, yes. But was it real? I don't know. I don't know. If Tua doesn't have that ball slip out of his hands and hits Cedric Wilson in stride, which he normally does, then we're not picking on McDaniel's play calling at the end. But I see what you're saying, Stubbs. You can fault him sometimes. Yeah, I know, Dad Dean, you're just pointing it out. But I just when I see that 13-4, my eyes light up like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh, 13-4. I would love me some 13-4. Let me dip, that chocolate into some marshmallow and peanut butter on top of it, because that'd be great, 13-4. Holy moly. I just saw that, and that's the whole thing. Remember, I got attention deficit disorder, so I see 13-4, and all everything else is just like the Charlie Brown, blah 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 blah. I saw 13-4, and I was like, oh, ooh, let's see. No, for that one, no, you're right, man. I agree, Scotty, on that. It was like I think it was a team loss all the way around. Could McDaniel have done some stuff different? Yes. Could Tua hit some passes that he normally hits and he didn't? Yes. Could he have held on to the snap? Yes. Could Connor Williams have slightly got the ball easier to catch? Probably so. There's a whole bunch of blame to go around. The Dolphins beat themselves that game, and I think that's why I took that loss harder than I took the Eagles loss and I took the Bills loss, because I just felt like that game was ours for the taking, and we just kind of laid an egg. We just didn't show up for whatever reason. We looked like the team that was jet lag, even though we had been there. It took us so long to finally get. We never even got in a groove. Is the thing, because I mean, let's face it. One of our touchdowns was set up because of the defense doing the strip sack and getting the ball back, and then Chris Jones just deciding to do the Dolphins a favor by doing a personal foul on Austin Jackson to continue that touchdown drive. So sometimes you get helped. And that I thought maybe would wake us up, because at that point it made it 21-14. And I'm like, holy moly, we're right back in this game. The defense gave us the offense two opportunities to tie the game. Two opportunities to tie the game. The first one, they couldn't do anything, gave the ball back to Kansas City. The defense holds again. We get the ball again, drive down the field. You all know what's happened. We didn't come through. So it's just a result of a whole bunch of things. Yeah, I know. You can say that stuff. Like I say, I mean, there's blame to go around, but I just don't blame all on McDaniel, because if Tua hits that pass, none of us talking about McDaniel not calling a good game. So it's just like I say, it's just a whole bunch of things that we can blame on that one. But there's no right or wrong. Hey, good morning, Newfoundland. A big fins up to you. And if you just haven't done it yet, throw that laser pass at the thumbs up, Newfoundland. It helps the channel, and it's free to all you great, awesome Dolphins out there listening today. Let's see what Jets and Ravens win will bury those narratives, especially with A-Chan, offensive line, and defense. I agree on that, Dan. I do like the fact that we got some people coming back. Our defense played well. That was the first game that you felt like the defense could have won the game for us, but our offense couldn't do anything this time. So, like, and when we went up and played the Chargers, are out from where I live, and played the Chargers, all the way out west. Um, that was all on the offense. The defense couldn't stop the Chargers all day. We went down there and we won a barn shootout against the Chargers. So now, but this game was flipped. The last game we've played, and it's just like our defense basically shut down Patrick Mahomes for two scores. That's it. No field goals, two touchdown drives. They were nice drives. They were both long, sustained drives, but that's going to happen against a Patrick Mahomes team. Against no matter who he's going to get some points. So two, and shut them out in the second half, and we come away with an L. That's what's disheartening to me. That our defense shut them out, punched them in the mouth, took control of the game, and our offense never woke up from jet lag. It was bad. I wanted to beat the fraudulent. Well, I'm going to call the Chiefs fraudulent, sir. They are defending Super Bowl champions. But yes, they're not as good as they I think have been in the past, but they're still the number one seed right now, and basically up there, in the AFC. But yeah, I agree. This was our chance to beat them. We've gotten a lot closer to them, and we just didn't get it done, and that's what's frustrating about that one. Oh, yeah, if that would have been, I said that too. I go, man, if A-Chan had been in that shuffle pass, he's like gonna break through that hole. I agree. And yeah, maybe we should have done it to a Mozart or a Wilson or something. You're right. That was a good play call. Is this Augment didn't break any tackles, didn't burst through the hole quick enough. No, that's the problem, Dad Dean. That's the problem. We weren't able to close the deal against a great team. We closed the deal against the Chargers when we had to win, and that was a great move. That was our other close game this year that went our way. But this close game when we had our chance. That's why I said the Eagles game, and we know we never really felt like we got in a groove. The Bills game, after the first two drives, they basically shut us down. So, but this is the game that you felt like we had a chance to win all the way to the end, despite being down 21 to nothing and spotting them that free 7 points on the Tyreek Hill fumble right at the end of the half. So it's just so disappointing. That's why I said I'm happy. I just wish we didn't have a bye week this week, other than the fact it works out for my personal family life, being able to go up to see my son, and so that's great. But man, other than that, man, I just wish the Dolphins were playing this week to get back on the winning ways. Yeah, if he put Ogden on the field, we were putting him in a terrible situation. I agree. Oh, I know, G man. I know. I feel your pain, G man. You were saying that you felt all along we weren't really all you weren't buying what the Dolphins were selling from the beginning when they had the nice record and stuff. So I understand your pain. He's a longtime Dolphin guy, and he has the pain of just too many losing seasons now, as far as non-winning playoff games. As far as when I mean losing seasons, for some reason Ahmed is getting more touch. I know. I agree. I would think Wilson would get more. I don't know if Wilson's 100% or he's just moving it. They're afraid of his load. They don't want to give him too much since he has a history of getting banged up. So maybe down the stretch, they were playing him more. And I don't see Ahmed when HN comes back, and if he stays healthy, I know he's kind of on the smallest side, but if he stays healthy, he is a weapon to deal with. He is something that teams are going to have to plan for. He has that speed element that's going to open up so many other avenues for the Miami Dolphins. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, halfway through the season, we were ranked sixth in the league. I'm crying. We aren't a great. No, I'm only a top 10 team getting great healthy. No, I know. I understand where they're coming from, Scotty, because they haven't got that. Dolphins haven't given us that big W against a team like the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Bills. I think the whole attitude towards the team would be different if they would have got one of those. Especially, it would have been different if they would have just recently biased, would have beaten Kansas City. I believe then more fans would be positive. Overall, I'm still positive. But was I down for a couple of days about this one? Yes. And I normally try not to. I'm old enough to realize it's not that I can control, but this one was a punch in the gut to me because it just felt like a game that we had the opportunity to win. And we, more than any other game this year, it just felt like we beat ourselves this week. Was it the pressure? Was they over there? Who knows? Maybe they were in Germany too long. Maybe we are flipping around in Kansas City, took the better route and just get there a couple days before the game and go play football. But Kansas City was not that. They had two drives. That was it. We just couldn't do anything. I'm right there with you, Dad Dean. Like I say, I was a Dolphin fan back then, but I was only 7 years old. So when I really start remembering, the first game I ever felt invested in was the Dolphins against Chargers playoff game that they lost when they were down 24 to nothing, and Don Strock enters the game and they come back and tie it, only to lose in overtime. That was like where I felt invested. Like I was like, oh my God, the Dolphins lost. Before that, I would watch. I would sit there and watch some games with the family and say, yeah, go Dolphins, but never that game. And that hurt me. And ever since I've been real in. Yeah, I know. Yes, same here, Mr. Dad Dean. Team has been sloppy and undisciplined under McDaniel. He's not a disciplinarian and he can't change his person. Yeah, he may not be a disciplinarian, but I still think he's a good coach. Can they clean up the penalties? I still think yes, they can clean up the penalties. But yeah, he is not a Flores. He's not a Belichick, a Shula, of course, way back in the day. But he can get the job done. because I don't think McVay out in with the Rams. Would you really look at him as a disciplinarian? Probably not. But yet they won the Super Bowl. So there are ways to win without being necessarily a disciplinarian. Shanahan's have never been a disciplinary line of coaches. So, there are ways to get by that. But yes, do the pre-snap penalties bug me more than anything? Yes. In-play penalties, they're going to happen during football. You wish they won it, of course. But yes, when you're jumping off sides or lining up in the neutral zone or having a delay of game or having to burn a timeout because the play clock's about to go to zero and you burn a timeout in the second half. Yeah, some of that comes from maybe lack of discipline or lack of organization getting stuff done. But overall, I just do like McDaniel G man. So that's where maybe you and I would differ a little bit. But yes, if you want the disciplinarian that's going to rant and rave and make them run to a wall because they jumped off sides, it's not the McDaniel way, and it's just the way it's going to be. But that's okay. Seems like the D is surpassing the O in terms of productivity and momentum. The undisciplined penalties need to get clean. Yes, I agree with that. There are some undisciplined penalties. Don't don't buy into blaming coaching for that. It's about reps. Yeah, I know they have to get there. And I'm sure these players are taught to do it right. I'm sure Butch Berry's on their butt on the offensive line. Do not make sure you wait till the snap count. We average 6 penalties per game, ranked 13th in the league. I think that's too many, but we are better than middle pack. So how many of teams are undisciplined? Hey, good stat, Scotty, and I'll take your word for it because I didn't look that up. Well, Scotty, Mr. G Man says we're getting 6 penalties per game, which is ranked 13th. So we're right in the middle of the league. I know what you would say. I don't care about the rest of the league. I care about the Dolphins. And yes, some of their penalties hurt. And some of them are stupid penalties, like illegal man down the field. That happens and all this stuff. But man, they need to put an end to some of these things. I agree. But it's good to know that we're not in the bottom half of being the worst penalized. I love him, but please don't stop running the ball when it's working. Yes, Mr. Stubbs. Justin, if he's still listening, would be screaming that he agrees with what you just said. I love him, but please don't stop running the ball when it's working. I agree on that. That I agree with. But I also agree with McDaniel. If they would have ran it and got stuffed, he would have been criticized for running when the clock was winding down. So I understand. But yes, those two, like Moser had two big runs there, was having over 7 yards of carry. So I can feel your pain on that front. But at the end of the day, as I get ready to wrap this show up, like we covered, it was a team loss. Everyone could have coached better, played better. We could have done whatever better, you know. But hey, it just is what it is, man. It stinks, man. Tua didn't have a horrible game, but he didn't have a good game, and I was hoping he was going to have a great game to take the team on his back and to get us over the top. He had his chance to close it out, and he didn't. At least he took this. He accepted that. He said that was on him. He said the last two plays he took blame for. The fumble snap he took blame for, and the miscommunication he took blame for. So it is what it is. I'm going to try to do some Scottyism here and be positive. We are 6-3. Hey, good morning, Canes, Dolphins, 89. Big fins up. If you haven't done so already, Canes, then I go nail that. If you think your Hurricanes have a chance to beat the Seminoles this week, or if you want that to happen, nail that thumbs up for some good karma, and it would be awesome, man. It would be awesome. But yeah, as far as all that goes, man, it's just like Scotty says, we are 6-3. We are in control of the AFC East. Could things be a little bit better? Of course. But if you ask most teams around the NFL, they will all say the same thing. So this is it. This is when the money's earned. We're hitting into the second or already now and into the second half of the season. The Dolphins have their bye this week. But this is when these guys earn their money. This is when it's all out there for the taking. Either you go earn it or you take that L and you fall back and eat some pride. But I think this team will go out there and start winning. The defense is coming around. Everyone loves to say defense wins championships, which is true because it's been around a long time. The defense is coming into his own. Fangio is going to be able to be more bag of tricks now that he has off his pieces of the puzzle. There'd be more stuff coming out that way, more game planning, more things to do. You saw what they did. They limited a Kansas City Patrick Mahomes led team to 2 offensive touchdowns. So the defense is coming to its own. The offense has plenty of talent. They need to work some stuff out. I agree. Sometimes they need to be more balanced, but they have that talent. I think they got the right coach at the helm. Is he Mr. Disciplinarian? No. Well, I don't know what you're drinking, Mr. K, but I hope you're right for you, guy. Like I said, I'm not really a die-hard college fan of any one team. My money goes to UF, so I kind of like to see the Gators do well. I just went to FIU back in the day before they even had a football team. So I'm not really like that die-hard that went there, but I did go to the first ever national championship game for the Hurricanes back when Helen Snellenberger was the coach and they beat Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. And Nebraska went for the 2-point conversion at the end to win it, and they knocked it off, and the Hurricanes won the national championship. I was there for that game. That was their first ever one. So, by my die-hard Hurricane fan, no, I only got room for 2 die-hard teams in my heart, and one would surprise you because it's not in the South Florida market. It's the Boston Red Sox in baseball because there was no team when I was a kid, and Jim Rice was my first ever favorite player. So that's where that came from. And then, of course, born and raised in South Florida. How can I not love my Miami Dolphins? But do I like to see all the Florida teams do well? Yeah, because it makes it look like the power football is back in the state of Florida. It's been a long time since the Hurricanes, Seminoles, and Gators were all relevant in the national pictures. This year, the Seminoles are not, aren't relevant. But could the Canes knock them off and, get a little smirk? That'd be fine. Look at my neighbor right here. He's an annoying Seminole fan. Nicest guy in the world, but he thinks like I'm some Gator fan just because my kids go there. Both of his kids went to FSU, and every day he sees me out there fishing in my back. He always comes over and says, "How about them Knowles?" I would just love to just lose. So I would say something sarcastic. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not a diehard or whatever. But if they would lose to the Gators or lose to the Kings, I would have a little sarcastic thing when I see him in his backyard. How about them Gators? Because he says it like that, and he doesn't even have that accent. But that's what he just likes. I guess he's trying to do his Bobby Bowden and telling you about how about them Knowles. So we will see. It's okay, Newfoundland. You can't have great taste everywhere, but your Blue Jays they're always one of the most talented teams, and they somehow find their way not getting it done lately, but they got talent oozing out of that roster. But my Red Sox finished in last place, so I'm not laughing at you. Oh man. If the Dolphins only lose to Dallas and Washington, number 2 seed and number 3 seed for RB Love. Hey, I like the positivity, Dad. I like when you can point out the good scenarios. But like I say, I see some bumps on the road along the way, but I also see some victories along the way. I have a very hard time thinking right now, as it stands on November 8th, going into Baltimore and winning. But can they start coming back to the pack? Can they start getting some key injuries, which I do not want? I want everyone to be healthy on all teams. I know that it's not realistic though, so that's why I pointed out they could start playing sluggish. They can start getting beat up in playing their division games. But as it stands right now, do I really think the Dolphins have a chance to go in and beat Baltimore in Baltimore? Probably not. Maybe that's just more recency bias because my Dolphins haven't gotten that monkey off their back on beating a good team. Maybe by then they would have beaten some good teams, and then my confidence level would be growing. But hey, I didn't think they would beat them last year up there, and we worked that 4-quarter magic and we won. So I was wrong last year. Maybe I'll be wrong again this year. But the one thing I'm never wrong about is that Dolphin fans are the best. I love our Dolphins. You guys make this show so much fun. Trying to get to 500 subscribers, just to that small little landmark. But like I always say, it's not really about subscribers to me. It's about teammates, just more Dolphin fans to talk to. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to talk Dolphins, and it's all fun. But if you ever do want to buy something on Fanatics, I would love it if you use the link in my description here, or you go to my webpage. You buy stuff on the safe, secured site of Fanatics. You pay zero extra. In fact, you can still use their promo codes, but if you use my link to start that purchase, I make a couple bucks. I mean, if it's not something on my link that you go to, but you decide, oh, I'm going to buy this instead, they still know you got there from my initial link, and that helps the site. And just like if you ever want to try Blackout Coffee, use the discount code Thirsty, you get 20% off. All helps the channel. But you guys rock, man. Dolphin fans are the best. I know we get some hate around the league, but to me, we're a loyal bunch. We stick together when you see another fan base. We may fight inner family just like families do, but if we see someone else pounding on our family member, then we step up in defending our family, even if we pick on them ourselves later. That's just how we are at Dolphin Fans World. We're really great, man. We come together. If you're rocking Dolphins gear 20 something years after the last playoff victory and you're sitting here when you guys could be listening to all kinds of entertainment and doing all kinds of things while you're working or doing stuff around the house, whatever you're out there, and you're listening to my little channel, I appreciate it, man, because you guys, you rock. You are a dedicated Dolphin fan if you're in my channel doing that when there's a million options out there for you guys to take part of. So I appreciate it. You guys rock so much, man. Yeah, we are the number one hated first place team, and I'm fine. Yeah, I like that too, man. People do not love the Dolphins, that's for sure. And right now we're giving them ammo because we haven't beaten that good team. I don't know what the ammo is going to be when we start beating good teams, like you say, Scotty. Then they're going to change the goalpost to like whatever. Who knows? It's just it'd be whatever it is. Well, they weren't very good or whatever. They had an off day or something. Hey, well, yeah, stick to this, Kohler. Much better than hey. Even though we sometimes sports debates become almost like political debates. I see some people get so nasty over sports debates. It's more. I'm willing to accept people's differences. I know some people will say we're going to go in the Super Bowl. There's other people saying we suck, and you know what? I can take both sides. I don't care because I'm just a Dolphin fan at the end of the day, and this is Yoda. I mean, it's like I'm mad at this shirt. When I ordered it, I thought Yoda was show up better, but that's Yoda, and it says on the when we will win, and then we will like saying they will win, but backwards in Yoda talk. But hey, it is what it is. Our Dolphins are number one in the AFC East. We have control of the division. I love it. All the teams in the AFC East lost this week. We could have taken control by beating Kansas City. We would have been 2 games up, looking super strong. But hey, we're still a game ahead of Buffalo. Control your fate, Miami Dolphins, and go out there and kick butt. And guys, if you want to catch Kohler, you can often catch him tonight. I don't think he's going to have a show with Miss Fins. He would probably be on tomorrow night with Miss Fins. She said this morning, but you can also catch him on the Fins tailgate. He's always over there. And all you guys, a big Fins up to you. Let's see. We can beat anyone. Just cut down the penalties, drops, and keep running the ball and better. Hey, there you go, Mr. Stubbs. You're probably not old enough to remember Mr. Stubbs, but every time I see your name, I think of Daniel Stubbs, who was a Miami Hurricane player back in the day. So that's funny. I know I've told you that before, but that's who I think of every time I see your name. All right, guys. I'm looking for my closeout video. So if I say all right like 3 times, it just means because I haven't found my closeout video. All right, I found my closeout video. You guys are the best. If you haven't done so already, please boom, 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 and tell people about Dolphins Thirsty. Say, hey, he's a cool show. He's a little crazy at times, but he's not like a clickbaiter. He talked from his heart. He loves his Dolphins for years and years and years. And that's how I roll. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Newfoundland, and all you guys that came in there at the end. You're welcome, Moya. You were in here from the beginning today. A big fins up to you. All you guys are super. And now I got to go back because I saw those comments pop up there. I had to go back to. Thank you, Dad Dean. I appreciate it. You guys make it easy to have a lot of fun. Big fins up to you, Canes, Dolphins. Guys, by the way, I probably won't be on for the next few days, but don't worry. I'm not running away. I'm just hitting it tomorrow. I'll be in the car hitting up to Gainesville to celebrate my son's 21st birthday. So we're going to spend a few days up in Gainesville with him before hitting back. So maybe I do a show Sunday just to fill in the space with no Dolphin it. I think we're going to just head back late Saturday or stay over one more night and head back Sunday since the Dolphins aren't playing. Who knows? But I appreciate all you guys. Well, don't think I run away for the next couple of days. I'll be back for sure talking about our Miami Dolphins, our division leading Miami Dolphins nonetheless. Fins up. You guys rock.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won, for all things